I wonder, as an actor, do you ever look at the president and think he's performing, like he's playing an act or something?
In some ways, I think he is, but I think that it's, as I think some of these other pundits on Fox are too, because I can't believe that they would actually buy into this craziness. This guy should not be president, period.
And when you say that, folks on Fox come after you. I remember the Tonys when you got up there and cursed. A lot of criticism of you.
Fuck them.
Okay, well, you know, this is cable, so it's not an FCC violation, but it is still a Sunday morning.
Well,
I do wonder why you choose to go that way.
Let me say something.
Why do you choose to go that way?
We are at a moment in our life, in this country, where this guy is like a gangster. He's come along and he's said things, done things we say over and over again. This is terrible. We're in a terrible situation. We're in a terrible situation. And this guy just keeps going on and on and on without being stopped.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about Trump derangement syndrome, a topic that I talk about quite a bit on my channel because I find it fascinating observing these individuals who show signs and symptoms of this condition that seems to be extremely prevalent in our country. At least 20 to 30% of the population has a form of this condition, and some have it more severely than others. Okay, if you tend to be in the media or, you know, in Hollywood or a Democrat, you probably have the worst case of Trump derangement syndrome. And we got to talk about a guy who probably has a severe case, probably one of the most severe cases in the country, and that is Robert De Niro, who is famously a anti-Trump actor, and he got upset at the producers of the Gotham Independent Film Awards after they edited out comments that were critical of former President Donald Trump. Now, Robert De Niro is starring in Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, which is produced by Apple. So this guy, Robert De Niro, who famously at the Tony Awards screamed F Trump, okay? He said it out loud. He basically said that he was going to thank Apple in the Gotham Awards, but decided to change his mind because they edited out his anti-Trump comments during the speech. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and roll this clip. Take a look.
The beginning of my speech was edited, cut out. I didn't know about it. And I want to read it. It was, thank you. History isn't history anymore. Truth is not truth. Even facts are being replaced by alternative facts and driven by conspiracy theories and ugliness. In Florida, young students are taught that slaves developed skills which could be applied for their personal benefit. The entertainment industry isn't immune to this festering disease. The Duke John Wayne famously said of Native Americans, "I don't feel we did wrong in taking this great country away from them. There were great numbers of people who needed new land, and the Indians were selfishly trying to keep it for themselves." Lying has become just another tool in the charlatan's arsenal. The former president lied to us more than 30,000 times during his years in office. And he's keeping up the pace in his current campaign of retribution. But with all his lies, he can't hide his soul. He attacks the weak, destroys the gifts of nature, and shows disrespect, for example, by using Pocahontas as a slur. Filmmakers, on the other hand, strive, and this is where I came in and I saw that they edited all that. So I'm going to say these things, but to Apple and thank them and all that, Gotham, blah, 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 Apple, but I don't feel like thanking them at all for what they did. How dare they do that, actually? But now I will go.
Yeah, so imagine being so Trump deranged that you get mad because the producers of the award ceremony decide to cut out your anti-Trump speech, right? Just imagine being so Trump deranged that you decide to include a political speech in your award speech in the first place, right? Again, why? What's the point? I really don't get it. I don't understand. These people are so miserable, right? Like, how miserable do you have to be as a person? In the Biden economy, that is, right? In the Biden economy, to be so Trump deranged that you have to give an anti-Trump speech at an award ceremony that has nothing to do with Trump whatsoever. And then you want to get mad and boohoo and whine and cry and give your anti-Trump speech anyways because producers decided to rightfully cut it out, right? I mean, because again, it doesn't have anything to do with anything. Okay, you're just anti-Trump virtue signaling for the sake of anti-Trump virtue signaling, right? Which is the worst type of virtue signaling. Everybody knows. Okay, it's not like you're speaking to an audience of people who, disagree with you, right? Like, I mean, I can imagine at all these woke Hollywood ceremonies, all these people are anti-Trump. They all don't like Trump, okay? So, again, who are you really speaking to, right? Who are you really speaking to? I'm just saying, this guy right here, I kind of feel bad for these individuals, but at the same time, if they want to live their lives being so miserable and letting Trump take up every single thought in their head every second of the day, hey, it is what it is. I guess they deserve it, right? But hey, at least he's not running for president because he's so Trump deranged, which is what is happening with Christie. He's literally running, well, not running literally, because we know that Christie doesn't run anywhere except the Golden Corral, right, or away from a gym. But he is running for president because he hates Trump, okay? He hates Trump so much that he went on CNN and claimed that Trump is the cause of all bigotry in this country, right, including anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, right? Trump is the cause of all forms of bigotry in this country, even bigotry committed by people who are clearly left-wing. And he's blaming Trump for all that. And he's also mad and upset that people don't talk about Trump enough, even though this guy talks about Trump all day, every day. He has Trump in his mouth more than he has food in his mouth. Take a look.
Governor, I want to ask about the spike in hate against Jews in the United States. You told the New York Times that you believe former President Donald Trump's, quote, intolerance for everybody has contributed to the surge in anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. How so?
Well, look, when you show intolerance towards everyone, which is what he does, you give permission as a leader for others to have their intolerance come out. And so, intolerance towards anyone encourages intolerance towards everyone. And that's exactly what's going on here. And that's been going on for quite some time,
And so here we have a criminal enterprise going on at the White House, and we want to send this back? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me at all. And the only reason that there's even context for this conversation is because so many people are also dissatisfied with Joe Biden. You've got two people, both of whom, in my opinion, quite frankly, are too old for the job, who show signs every day that they're not up to the job every day. And so the American people sit there and say, look, what are we going to do with this choice? And that's why I'm out here fighting for this. It's not that I had nothing else to do. I had some pretty nice gigs I was doing that were very enjoyable and that were really good for my family. But I couldn't sit by and let this happen. And it bothers me just as much to have people who are in the race pretending to run for president. Like, run against Donald Trump. Like, when we were at the debate, and the one complaint I did have about the last debate was there was not one question about Donald Trump. I'm like, are we pretending that we're just the only 5 candidates up here for president and it's amongst us? The guy who's 20, 30 points ahead of all of us, we're not going to even bring him up and talk about him? I mean, this is the kind of stuff that drives me crazy.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. It drives Krispy Kreme crazy to not talk about Trump at the debate when this dude has a platform on every liberal media outlet where all he does is talk about Trump. All they do is bring him on to talk about Trump. They would not bring him on if he was not talking about Trump, because they damn sure don't give a damn about anything that you have to say outside of you bashing Trump. That's the only reason you're on these platforms. But again, he thinks that we don't talk about Trump enough. Okay, as if talking about Trump actually hurts Trump. It doesn't. It hasn't hurt Trump. Again, but you have Christie polling at 2%. Okay, basically damn near about to be forced to drop out of the race. Still talking about how we need to be talking about Trump. Your whole campaign is built off talking about Trump. And what have you gained out of it? More unpopularity. You're polling at 2%. And Trump is getting more popular. He's more popular than he's ever been. He is dominating the Republican primary, and he's also dominating Biden in the general election. Again, Christie may actually be helping Trump by attacking him at this point. Okay, Christie might be Trump's biggest fan because Trump has gotten stronger ever since Christie came out and started swinging against the guy. Again, it's almost as if he likes seeing Trump continue to dominate despite the attacks. But you know who's a Republican that's not a fan of Trump, who also has a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome? Mitt Romney, right? And Mittens went on the mainstream liberal media just a few weeks ago and declared that his Trump derangement is so bad that he would vote for a Democrat over Trump, but not just over Trump, but also Vivek as well too, who is basically the closest thing to Trump that's in the GOP primary. Take a look.
Who do you like in the Republican field?
Anybody. I'd be happy to support virtually any one of the Republicans. Maybe not Vivek, but the others that are running would be acceptable to me, and I'd be happy to vote for them. I'd be happy to vote for a number of the Democrats too. I mean, it would be an upgrade from, in my opinion, from Donald Trump.
Yeah, so I want you guys to understand the same people that want to lecture, Trump supporters over putting party over country, okay, or Trump over the country, right? This is what they claim, are straight up putting the uniparty over the country. Because imagine saying that, you know what, I would rather continue to vote for a disaster, which is what the Biden administration has been for this country, right? And especially as a Republican, okay? I would much rather vote for the disaster that is Biden, okay, and continue to let the country fall off a cliff rather than to vote for Trump, who's supposed to be a lot closer aligned with somebody like Mitt Romney as a Republican than Biden. But Romney and what he's saying tells you everything you need to know about Romney, which is that he'd rather put the uniparty over the country, right? His allegiance to the uniparty, his allegiance to the establishment is more important than the actual well-being of the country. That's what I heard there from Mitt Romney. I would rather vote for a Democrat in a time in which Democrats are destroying the country than Trump. Amazing, right? Amazing, okay? I mean, this guy also said maybe he would vote for a Democrat over Vivek as well, too. Which, again, tells you everything you need to know about Vivek. For all these people that keep coming out here and saying Vivek is fake, he's a plant. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Mitt Romney saying I would not support him, okay? He's basically saying I would not support the two candidates in the GOP race that are anti-establishment, that are against the establishment. I'm not going to support them. This is what he's saying, which tells you everything you need to know about all the other candidates and whether or not they're part of the establishment. Clearly, Mitt Romney wouldn't mind getting behind them and supporting them. Just saying, right? I'm just saying. But with that being said, again, the level of Trump derangement syndrome in this country is, and it's unbearable. It's really out of control, bro. I really do not understand these people who would much rather continue to see Biden in the White House than Trump. You clearly do not care about the country. You clearly do not give a damn about your fellow Americans, okay? Because at some point, you got to put aside your Trump derangement and say, you know what? This guy is just going to be better for the country, right? Look at Michael Rappaport, right? Michael Rappaport sees the writing on the wall, okay? He's taking a few red pills during the Biden administration, and even he has come out and said, you know what? I don't like Trump, but I might have to vote for him over Biden because that's how bad the country's doing, right? He clearly cares about the country more than he cares about, going along with, the establishment or going along with vote blue no matter who. He's like, you know what? I think I care about the country more than that, right? Which is why I might consider voting for Trump. But no, Mitt Romney, okay, these other types of people, Robert De Niro, these other people, Nah, they don't care about the country. They rather the country be destroyed than to have Trump be president. It's really, really, really sad. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.